Right then, pull up a chair, grab a pint, or a cup of tea if you're feeling proper. And let's talk about a bloke who had more mutinies than hot dinners. William Bligh. Not just the famous one, mind you, but this fella was a proper magnet for rebellion. If you were having a bad day, chances are Bligh was having a worse one, and it was probably his own damn fault. Now, everyone knows about the mutiny on the Bounty, yeah? April 28th, 1789. Fletcher Christian, some disgruntled sailors, a tropical paradise left behind, and Bligh getting shoved into a little open boat with a few loyal souls. Sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? Being adrift in the vast Pacific with barely any grub. But here's the kicker. William Bligh, for all his faults, was an absolute wizard when it came to navigation. He was sailing master under bloody Captain Cook, no less. This wasn't some chancer. This was a man who could find a needle in a haystack blindfolded, using only the stars and a strong cuppa. He sailed that little boat with 18 men, nearly 4,000 miles to Timor. Without charts, by the way. Just raw, unadulterated navigational genius. That's like rowing from London to New York with a compass made of cheese and still hitting Times Square. The man was a survivor. So why did everyone want to throw him overboard? Well, imagine a brilliant but incredibly short-tempered headmaster who also runs the school tuck shop and constantly accuses you of stealing biscuits. That was Bligh. He was a stickler for discipline, absolutely, but not necessarily more prone to flogging than other captains of his era. In fact, some say he flogged less than his contemporaries. Where he truly excelled, though, was in the art of the public tongue-lashing. He'd tear into his officers, his men, anyone really, with a ferocity that would make a drill sergeant blush. He was all about that tough love, but it often just came across as plain old abuse. His intention, bless his cotton socks, was often good. He genuinely cared about his crew's health, a rare thing for the time. He insisted on cleanliness, on proper diet, pushing things like sauerkraut and vinegar to ward off scurvy, a lesson he'd picked up from Cook. He even tried to give his men longer, uninterrupted sleep by splitting watch periods into 3 shifts instead of 2. On paper, sounds like a proper humanitarian, right? But then he'd turn around and publicly humiliate a man for a minor infraction, or accuse them of petty theft over a piece of cheese. It was enough to make you want to swim to the nearest deserted island and start a coconut farm. And here's a lesser-known fact for you. By the way, get this. After the Bounty Mutiny, Bligh was acquitted, promoted, and then sent back to Tahiti again to collect breadfruit. The Royal Society, led by the influential Sir Joseph Banks, who championed the breadfruit mission in the first place, thinking it'd be a cheap food source for slaves in the West Indies, still had faith in his navigational prowess. So he went back, completed the mission successfully this time, and delivered the breadfruit. Imagine the sheer audacity, or stubbornness, take your pick. He was like a bad penny, always turning up. Now, let's peel back the layers of this bloke's identity, shall we? Bligh's core purpose seemed to be rooted in a deep, almost fanatical dedication to naval efficiency and the pursuit of knowledge. He was an explorer, a cartographer, a botanist by proxy, and a damn fine sailor. His moral clarity was in his belief that strict discipline and adherence to regulations were paramount for the well-being of the ship and its crew. He believed he knew what was best, and he was usually right technically. But where he went a bit wobbly on the integrity front was in his delivery. He'd treat his protege, Fletcher Christian, like a favourite son one minute, and then tear him a new one in front of the entire crew the next. That kind of erratic behaviour, that public humiliation, it chips away at respect, yeah? It undermines the authority of your subordinates too. When your captain constantly berates your officers, why should the lower ranks listen to them? This wasn't just about a temper. It was a fundamental breakdown in how he managed human relationships, which, as any good pub landlord will tell you, is half the battle. Consider the trade-offs. Bligh prioritised rigid adherence to naval procedure and what he saw as optimal conditions for the voyage. over the emotional and psychological well-being of his crew. He traded a disciplined ship for a demoralised one. Was it a stroke of genius to try and get his crew to skylark on deck for exercise? Maybe. But then forcing them to dance and cutting their grog if they didn't turns a good intention into a demeaning punishment. He couldn't seem to grasp that a happy crew, even a disciplined one, is a productive one. And it wasn't just the bounty. Bligh later became governor of New South Wales in Australia with a mission to clean up the rampant corruption, particularly in the rum trade. What happened? Another bloody rebellion. The Rum Rebellion. He was put under house arrest by mutinous soldiers. The man just couldn't catch a break. Or perhaps he just couldn't learn to temper his incredibly abrasive personality. So, what can we learn from William Bligh, the man who was both a navigational genius and a human mutiny magnet? Well, for one, skill and competence, no matter how extraordinary, aren't enough if you can't inspire loyalty and respect. Moral clarity might be there, a strong purpose certainly was. But without the integrity of respectful leadership and clear communication, even the best intentions can go spectacularly, hilariously, disastrously wrong. He was a brilliant sailor, but perhaps too much of a bull in a china shop for the delicate dance of human command. Right then, that's our tale for today. Stay curious, stay sharp, and stay just sober enough to remember it all. This was just a swig of history, and if it wasn't in your textbook, it bloody well should have been. And before you go, do a brother fav and like, share and subscribe.